Hello everyone, welcome back. We're here with another fun-filled day of science, and I'm so happy to have you with me today. Today we're going to continue working on our experiments. Now last week you were pulling your ideas together. Not materials. You were pulling your ideas together. You were thinking about what you wanted your experiment to look like, how it would all play out, and what kinds of things you were interested in monitoring in your experiment. Remember, I talked about how if you had a soccer ball or a ball of any kind and you rolled it across the floor, you could measure several different things if you were conducting that experiment. You could push it across different surfaces and see how far it rolled for a certain length of time. You could measure how long it rolled. You could measure how it acted on the different surfaces, but that one's harder to measure and collect actual factual data for. So we should probably stick to something you can record in numbers. Okay, so distance, or amount of time it takes for it to get so far. Okay, now each one of those things is a variable. The ball you use is a variable. You could push different kinds of balls across the floor and measure how far each of them goes. You'd have to push it the same way, use the same kind of surface that you were rolling the ball on, and measure the distance after the same amount of time. But it's doable. Your experiment is your own. I want to see what you're able to come up with. So today, you're going to begin pulling these materials together to run your trials on your experiments. When you're doing your experiment, you should know the following. You should know what you're measuring, how you're going to conduct your experiment, like what running the experiment should look like. You should have a part in your experiment also. You should know the variables of the experiment, and you should know all of the pieces that you will need to make your experiment doable. Okay, so again, in the pendulum experiment, we had the pendulum, which technically variables are the string length and the bobber on the end. We had how you dropped it, who counted the swings, what you considered a swing, how, I don't remember if I said this or not, what you were measuring. That's 6 things just there, and I'm sure there are at least 3 more variables in that experiment. The amount of time that you were watching the swings of the pendulum. All of those pieces came together to create our pendulum experiment. If you don't know all of the pieces of your experiment, how can you find them? Consider breaking apart your experiment to the absolute tiniest pieces. Consider filling a water bottle. All of the steps needed to fill a water bottle. Take water bottle out of cupboard. Unscrew lid. Add ice. Fill with water. Return lid to bottle. Raise straw lid, that's 6. Drink water. Return straw cap. Okay, that's 7 or 8 steps just in getting a drink of water from this water bottle. Okay? If you want to add more and say raising it to your mouth, lowering it from your mouth, that's more. Every little thing you do comes together to create your experiment, as well as affect how your experiment plays out, how it works, what your results look like. Okay, so today I'm going to place a video on creating experiments in your folder. As I do this, I'm also adding an assignment where you can submit all of your experiment plans. Okay, variables, all of the variables you'll need, what your experiment looks like, your experiment designs, everything. Submit all of those. Now you can't submit more than one thing at a time without deleting it. So consider how you want to share that information. You might want to submit a piece of paper with all of those things on it. This is an example. With your materials here, your plan here, and maybe a drawing of what your experiment will look like over here. Okay, if all of those elements are together on one piece of paper, then you'll be able to just submit one thing to the Dropbox, okay? Before we begin building these experiments, your plan has to be approved, and I need to make sure you have all of the variables in place, okay? So there's multiple steps that we need to look at. But then hopefully by Tuesday or Wednesday, we will be able to conduct these experiments, okay? Please let me know if you have any questions. I will open up a discussion post for questions. But I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with, and I can't wait, actually, to see what you come up with and to see this play out. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.